welcome to the deep dive. We're going to be talking about, well, Trump's decision to revoke Biden's access to intelligence briefings.
Oh, yeah.
It's causing quite a stir.
Definitely.
Our main source for today is this article from Al Jazeera, published on February 8th, 2025.
Okay.
Just a couple of days ago. And get this, it all happened on Truth Social.
Wow. Okay.
With Trump using his classic "you're fired" line.
It does have that reality TV kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more to it.
Right.
When you look under the surface, you see presidential power, national security, and really how transitions of power should work.
Exactly. Yeah. So to really understand this, we need to break down a few things.
Okay.
First off, what exactly are intelligence briefings?
Well, imagine like having access to the most up-to-date info on global threats, potential crises, and really like how foreign governments work internally.
No, what?
That's what these briefings provide.
Okay.
To keep the president informed so they can make the best decisions for the country.
So it's like a cheat sheet, a top secret cheat sheet
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the whole world.
Yeah,
Okay.
and traditionally former presidents have access to these
Okay.
as a courtesy
Right.
and, to tap into their experience
That makes
because they've been in that seat.
they've been there. Yeah.
They've dealt with similar challenges.
Yeah.
Their insights are really valuable to whoever's president now.
So it's like having an advisor
Yeah,
who's been there
exactly.
on call.
Yeah.
But why? Why did Biden revoke Trump's access in 2021?
That was after January 6th,
Oh, right.
the Capitol riot.
Yeah.
There were concerns about, Trump's stability,
Right,
his
yeah.
potential actions.
Yeah.
Could he be trusted
Right.
with all this information?
With his rhetoric
Yes, right.
and everything.
So, people worried about potential slips
Mm-hmm.
and would Trump reveal classified information?
I see.
And now Trump is saying he's just following Biden's lead.
Oh, okay.
He's saying, there's no need for Biden to have these briefings. He's just returning the favor.
Right. But it's not that simple, is it?
No, not really.
You have to think about the context, right?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was a whole different climate back then.
Absolutely.
After the attack on the Capitol.
There was impeachment.
The impeachment, yeah.
Everyone was worried about a peaceful transfer of power.
Right. And how about the language Trump used in the Truth Social post, like calling out security clearances?
Oh, yeah.
And the article points out former
Yeah.
presidents don't actually need them.
It felt kind of pointed.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to send a message.
Absolutely. He's using that language of security, access control.
Right.
But there's definitely a political undertone there.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he's saying, don't criticize me.
It feels like national security and politics are getting mixed up here.
You're right. This isn't just between them.
Right.
It raises questions about using intelligence to gain political leverage.
And this isn't even the first time, right?
No, not at all.
Trump's administration revoked clearances and details from people like
General Milley,
General Milley.
who didn't agree with how he handled the military.
Right, and others.
Those intelligence officials
Yeah.
who questioned the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Right, so this is a trend.
Yeah, and it raises some red flags because
Yeah.
it seems like intelligence is being used, not for national security,
Right.
but to silence people,
Mm-hmm.
punish anyone who challenges them.
Okay, so we're seeing a pattern here.
Absolutely.
But before we get into the consequences of all this,
Okay.
we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Right.
The special counsel report
Yes.
about Biden
Yeah.
and the classified
That
document.
was Robert Hur's investigation.
Right. Looked into Biden having those documents from when he was vice president,
Right.
which were found at his house
At his home and office.
and the office. Yeah. And the report concluded that, well, Biden hadn't done it on purpose,
Okay.
but he had been careless.
Right.
And his memory of the documents was
Fuzzy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Trump is using this
Right.
to justify his decision,
Makes sense.
saying Biden can't be trusted
With his memory.
if his memory is unreliable.
Right, but the special counsel didn't recommend charges.
No.
And the report doesn't say his memory issues
Yeah,
were a security risk.
that's right.
So we have a situation where
Yeah.
Trump is using a report that didn't lead to charges
Mm-hmm.
to justify revoking Biden's access.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
is this really about national security?
Right.
Or is it just payback?
Which brings us to the big question.
Yeah.
What are the consequences of this?
That's a tough one. And that's what we'll be talking about
Okay.
in the next part,
Sounds good.
our deep dive.
I'm ready.
We were talking about the special counsel report and how Trump's using that to justify his decision to revoke Biden's access to intelligence briefings.
Right.
But let's look at the bigger picture here.
Oh.
Is there a downside to keeping former presidents out of the loop?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to answer.
Right.
Some people say former presidents have all that experience and knowledge.
Right.
And they could give insight
Yeah.
that the current administration might miss.
Like they're a library
Yeah.
of presidential knowledge, right?
Exactly.
They've been there, they've done that.
They might see things that others don't.
Right. And they could
help anticipate problems,
Right.
avoid pitfalls,
Yeah.
give advice based on what they went through.
It's like, think about it. They've
dealt with crises.
Yeah.
They've negotiated with world leaders.
Mm.
They've made tough decisions.
Under pressure.
Yeah, it's hard to find that kind of experience anywhere else.
And what about their relationships with foreign leaders?
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
They might have connections. That could be really helpful.
In sensitive situations.
Yeah, like negotiations
Mhm.
or just understanding a specific region.
Right. So their experience is valuable.
Yeah,
But there are risks too, right?
definitely.
What if a former president
Mm-hmm.
doesn't act in the best interest of the country?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Maybe they're angry
Right?
or they have their own agenda.
Or they just mess up.
They could make a mistake.
Yeah. And with Trump,
Yeah.
there were those criminal charges,
Right, about the 2020 election.
even though they were dropped.
Yeah, that adds another layer to all this.
So you have to balance things out.
Right.
The benefits of their experience
Mhm.
versus the risks of them messing things up.
With sensitive information.
It's a tough call.
It is.
But this seems like it's about more than just one president.
Yeah.
It feels like intelligence is being used as a political weapon.
You're right. This isn't a one-time thing.
We saw it with General Milley
Yeah,
and the intelligence officials who questioned the Hunter Biden laptop story.
that's right.
So is this the new normal?
I hope not.
Like every new president cuts off access to their predecessors.
That would be a problem.
Yeah.
It would create distrust,
Right.
make transitions messy,
Yeah.
and it might even stop good people from working in government
Because they know they could lose access.
for political reasons.
And that loss of experience,
Could be really bad for
Yeah.
national security.
less informed decisions,
Right.
a weaker system.
It makes us less safe.
So this decision about Biden's access,
Yeah.
it's really part of a bigger issue.
Exactly. It's about our political system.
Norms are eroding,
Partisanship is rising.
and national security is becoming political.
These trends have been building for a while.
And this situation is just the latest example.
It's not even about Republicans and Democrats anymore. It's
Yeah.
about our democracy
Yeah,
and our ability to govern ourselves.
in a complicated world.
So the big question is,
Yeah.
what do we do now?
How do we stop this from happening?
That's a tough one.
And we'll try to answer that
Yeah.
in our final segment.
Sounds good.
So we've talked about, Trump's decision and the whole politicization thing, but what does it all mean for the average person?
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the politics,
Right.
but this affects everyone.
So what are the big takeaways here? What should we be watching for as this all plays out?
Well, I think the main thing is remembering that access to intelligence is powerful.
Yeah.
It can be used for good
Right.
to inform decisions, protect the country,
Keep things stable.
but it can be misused too.
like we've seen.
Right.
It's like any tool.
Hammer can build a house,
Yeah.
or it can be a weapon.
It all depends on the person using it.
Right. So we need,
We need clear rules, oversight, transparency,
when it comes to intelligence,
gathering and sharing.
to make sure it's being used the right way,
responsibly, ethically.
not for personal gain.
Exactly.
And we have to be careful about politicization.
Absolutely.
When national security becomes a political football.
It undermines trust.
Yeah.
Makes it hard to even talk about threats.
Because if we can't agree on the facts
Right.
or trust the information.
It's impossible to even have a conversation.
So it's not just about Biden and Trump.
This is bigger than that.
It's a sign of a bigger problem.
Our system is under strain.
So where does that leave us? What can we do?
Well, first, stay informed.
Okay.
Read different sources.
Right.
Be critical of what you see.
Don't just accept things.
Ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Challenge assumptions. Be an active citizen.
Exactly.
Right. Don't just passively take in information.
Go find it.
Analyze it.
Form your own opinions.
And we have to demand more from our leaders.
We need to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Demand transparency.
Reject the partisan stuff.
It's poisoning everything.
It's a lot, but it's important.
Our democracy depends on us.
We can't just sit back.
This isn't just about politics.
It's about the kind of world we want.
It's up to us to shape that.
Will said. So that wraps up this deep dive.
Hope you found it helpful.
We tried to make it informative and thought-provoking.
Remember, knowledge is power.
Stay curious, stay engaged.
Keep diving deep.